It's Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. Digital Trends Live is about to start. Here are some of the topics we're covering on today's episode of the show. Facebook is one of many tech companies helping to fight the spread of coronavirus, and they're now releasing disease prevention maps utilizing location data and asking you to fill out a survey. And autonomous vehicles have found yet another use case as a company in Jacksonville, Florida is using self-driving shuttles to mitigate the risk of human exposure to tests for COVID-19. And while the supply chain has been vastly disrupted, 3D printing is being used to fill in some of the gaps. We'll be joined by Ramon Pastor of HP to discuss their role in the industry and important partnerships that they have. Plus, since we are in our houses more than ever now, why not learn about the newest smart home devices? Our own John Velasco will join the show to discuss some innovative new products, including a robot that will muffle your smart speakers. All of that and more on today's episode of Digital Trends Live. Hello, this is Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. Of course, we broadcast live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you trending tech headlines, news, interviews, discussions, and so much more, all while broadcasting live across a number of different platforms. We're on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, Apple News, 2 different mobile apps, a smart television app, and at digitaltrends.com/live. So wherever you're finding us, you can join in the conversations that we get to have. And thank you to everybody who is here right now. We need to bring you up to date on some of the news that is trending in association with tech. So let's talk about this. Of course, going to the coronavirus updates. This is what we always talk about, right? But here's some new things that are going on. So when it comes to entertainment, we've seen a big response from the entertainment world, from streaming services, and now we're going to have a live streamed concert, but it's a massive one, and that's why I'm bringing it up right now. This is going to be taking place on April 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to involve Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel all co-hosting. It's called One World Together at Home. You may have seen some announcements about this yesterday, but just to fill in a few more details on it. So it's going to set up with a number of different performers: Lady Gaga, Elton John, Eddie Vedder, David Beckham. I don't know what he's going to do on there, but nonetheless, David Beckham will be a part of it. Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and a number of different artists. So it'll all be one giant live streamed show. It'll be broadcast actually on ABC, NBC, CBS, and iHeartMedia, in addition to BBC One. So this is really going worldwide. You're also going to have it on Alibaba, Amazon Prime, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, LiveX Live, Tencent, Twitch, Twitter, Yahoo, YouTube. So really every streaming platform pretty much that you can think of is going to be broadcasting this thing. So it's kind of a unique time where all of these live streaming services are going to come together and showcase the same thing. So I would expect it'll probably break a lot of records. There's a lot of details that we have about that at digitaltrends.com that you can take a look at, but certainly something that's kind of unique that's happening as we see everybody responding to this and trying to bring aid to those who need aid in association with this. Continuing on here, as we just give you some trending news stories here right out of the gate. Another thing happening from Facebook. Now, we've seen a lot of tech companies that are trying to find different ways to help out with this, whether it's preventing misinformation or other aspects. This right now is Facebook releasing some news about a disease prevention map. It's actually a series of maps. There's 3 of them. We're going to be utilizing location data to show the movements of people. This is a big thing when we're talking about social distancing, right? That's what social distancing is about, is keeping people in one place and not moving around constantly and being able to infect other people. So this is something that they are doing with these co-location maps, and it'll show the probability of people from different areas coming in contact with each other. So it's showing what the general movements are of people, and we've seen Google use location data as well. Other companies are working on this. Privacy concerns are certainly there, but they are saying that this isn't going to be something where they're giving actually personal information. It's general population movements that are already in use by researchers and nonprofit organizations, is what they're saying. So that's part of what they're doing. They're also, something that you'll notice on your Facebook feed is they are launching a survey. So it's a poll that's actually run by Carnegie Mellon University's Delphi Research Group, and they're going to be asking users to self-report what possible coronavirus symptoms they're suffering. So this data is going to just kind of generate some more insights into what's going on, give some general health information about where we're at, and that's what they're kind of using that for. So you'll see that pop up on your Facebook app. I've noticed it myself yesterday, wondering what it was. Well, this is what it is. So that's what we're just trying to bring you the information on that. So they said the data will provide new insights into the health crisis, including heat maps of respondents' symptoms. So again, just trying to use data location and information that they can gather from their platforms to help battle COVID-19 and everything that's happening with it. So some interesting use cases. It's public. You can go take a look at it right there. So that is on Facebook, and we've got more articles about that at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on, another use case for autonomous vehicles being debuted, and we know that autonomous vehicles certainly nothing new, but seeing how they're being utilized in this instance is certainly interesting, and it's being used to help protect people from possible contamination for coronavirus. So this is in Jacksonville, Florida. There is a testing site at a nearby at a Mayo Clinic. So this Mayo Clinic is actually doing the test. It's a drive-through test where people drive up and they get tested. And then what happens is, as you can see right here, that those tests are then placed inside this autonomous vehicle from a company called Beep, and then it drives it to another location for the processing. They say that one of the big reasons for this is to help mitigate those issues of people in the healthcare industry being exposed to this, and I can certainly see how that would be a great advantage for this. So these vehicles they are driving on the road. They have been using them for quite some time, but with a passenger. Now there's no passenger. However, they are followed by an SUV. So there's a human in an SUV that follows this. And what that's for is, say if something does happen and this car gets in an accident or somebody hits it or something goes wrong, they would be there to help prevent any humans or pedestrians or whoever the accident, say, that they were in with, prevent them from getting exposed to it as well. So it's certainly another use of technology trying to, again, help people out to keep them from getting exposed to this, and especially the healthcare workers who are there on the front lines. You can read more about that at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on here, giving you some trending news topics here at the start of the show. This one is trending all over the place. It has to do with WhatsApp and their efforts to prevent the spread of misinformation. Certainly a big concern right now across a number of different social media platforms. WhatsApp, though, has imposed a new forward limit to stem the tide of this misinformation. So this forward limit essentially prevents people from sending forwards too many times. And this is what happens on WhatsApp. Now, there's 2 billion users worldwide. If you're one of the users, you're probably very familiar with this. But what it'll do is it'll keep this misinformation from just kind of virally spreading, if you will, across their platform. They said that with the new limit, they're looking for a way for users to look up frequently forwarded messages on Google. So even if there is one that's forwarded, you would be able to look it up on Google. There would be a little magnifying glass option beside it. So this is rolling out as a test right now for that. And that it would enable users to sift through the web and instantly pull up matching web results to verify the information. So again, trying to stem the tide of misinformation, you'd be able to say, hey, I'm not sure about this, pull it up, and then they would take you directly to a verified source to say whether this is true or not. So all part of these ways that people are trying to prevent the spread of misinformation, including these different apps that we connect through. So WhatsApp, putting that on there. We've got more details about it that you can read at digitaltrends.com if you want to find out exactly how it's going to work or how it would affect you. But essentially, if you're sending a mass amounts of forwards, you're probably not going to be able to do that anymore. So that's really where it's going to come down to. But that is something that WhatsApp is doing to prevent that. Continuing on here with the trending news, then we're going to get to our break, and we've got a great guest coming up from HP to talk about 3D printing. But right now, this morning, actually, SpaceX officially detached the Crew Dragon capsule, or the Dragon capsule, the Dragon cargo capsule, from the International Space Station, and it is now on its way back to Earth. So this is something that it's been up there for about a month, actually, where it's the last time, so there's something specific about this. This is the last time this Dragon CRS-20 spacecraft will be attaching to the International Space Station. And this is the one where they have a robot arm that actually reaches out and grabs it and then pulls it in, so it was detached from that. From now on, the new trips up that they're going to be doing, they won't have to do that. They can attach directly to the International Space Station. It's more advanced. They're still aiming to launch the Crew Dragon capsule in mid-May, so they're actually wanting to send humans up with this in mid-May. Or not in that particular capsule, but in the Crew Dragon capsule. So that is still on course as of right now. We'll have to see, if it does get affected by anything, but that is where they're at right now. So you can read more about that at digitaltrends.com.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's now time for the product of the day.
All right, with everybody at home, of course, working from home, that means we've got to work out from home. So this is our product of the day. It is the Nordic Track Fusion CST. So this is a beast of a machine. it's got a lot going on there. So whatever you want to do, you're probably going to be able to do it. It's got 2 workouts in one. It's a cardio plus strength training, so you can build muscle and burn calories, according to what they're talking about. As you can see, they've all got their workouts going right there. It does come with a couple of different things, though, with it. It's got the Portal 10i HD touchscreen tablet. So with that tablet, you can actually hook up to iFit workouts. It comes with a free 1-year membership to iFit. So you can have somebody there giving you either personalized workouts or watching some of their on-demand videos. There's live interactive training, so it can really help you out if you're missing that aspect of being in a gym and having somebody help you out and tell you what to do. Well, this is a way to get around that. It's got 20 different intense power levels that will help you build and define lean muscle with different iFit trainer-led workouts. So a lot that you can do right there to stay in shape, and that's something that I think a lot of people are looking for right now. Everybody's trying to build up a home gym if you can. This is something that's available. Now, it is $1,999. That is on sale, but if you're interested in that, you can take a look at the link right there. Always good to start building that up. We don't know how long we're going to be here, but why not get in shape while you're at home? But there it is. That is our product of the day. All right, we need to get to a break because we've got a great guest who's going to be joining us next. So talking about supply chains when it comes to companies, we obviously know that those are disrupted and that we need valuable equipment to get to the right places. Well, there's certainly some issues with that, but there's some ways to get around that when it comes to 3D printing, and there's some really innovative things that are going on with HP. So coming up next, we've got Ramon Pastor from HP to talk about their role in the 3D printing space and what they're doing to solve a lot of these problems that we have. So that's coming up next, and we've got John Velasco who's going to be joining us later on. We're going to be talking about Houseparty. We've got a lot happening here on the show today, so whatever platform you're watching on, thank you for joining us. Drop in your comments and stick around. We'll be right back with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thank you for joining us wherever you are, which is probably your home, as we're all working from home right now. We do appreciate it, so hit that subscribe button and, of course, share the show to join us here every day to have the discussions that we get to have. And we do talk a lot, obviously, about how coronavirus is affecting all aspects of every industry, including tech, but definitely supply chains. That is something that we've seen really get affected by this, and there's some ways that we're working to solve some of that. Well, maybe not me, but HP is, and that's who we're talking to right now. We've got Ramon Pastor, who's the interim president of 3D printing and digital manufacturing. Ramon, first off, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I'm excited to talk about this and give everybody a little bit of context too, because HP, obviously a company that everybody knows in so many different spaces, but 3D printing on this enterprise level may not be something that everybody is familiar with. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory, I guess, on HP's role in this and how long you've been doing this, and maybe leading up to where we're at right now?
Actually, HP has been in the industrial space for a number of years, actually in the graphic arts, so doing presses, basically to convert the analog technologies, offset, flexo, into digital. And in 3D, we're doing the same. We're basically converting the typical traditional manufacturing technologies into digital. So basically, we're changing the way people actually design and manufacture, going from a paradigm where people today actually manufacture centrally, usually in Asia. They do mass manufacturing, they do generic products, and we are trying to move to a new world where what you do is distributed manufacturing, on demand manufacturing. Basically, you produce where you need it, the quantity that you need, and produce that can be actually personalized or do short runs.
Which could be so valuable in so many different ways, and I want to try to give everybody, an idea of that. Can you talk about some major use cases that you've seen so far?
We are actually working together with the customers from very, very different verticals, from aerospace, automotive, healthcare, very unfortunately very on the spot today with the corona crisis, consumer goods. At the end is use cases where the turnaround time, basically from ideas to production, needs to be very, very, very quick, where basically you need the flexibility to match demand and offering, and basically where you want really supply chains that are very agile, are distributed, and basically they can match the different needs from customers that are evolving.
What are some of the major ways, and again, to really bring this into view for everybody, what are some of the major ways that the coronavirus epidemic, the battle against COVID-19, are affecting supply chains? And from that, how can HP and 3D printing and everything that you're doing help mitigate some of those concerns?
This coronavirus crisis really has demonstrated the limits of the traditional supply chains, that they're very good when, again, you have a stable demand and a stable supply, but when you have local peaks of demand, they're very, very slow to react. And this is where 3D comes in. So we've been working in the US, in different countries, on Europe, on making sure that these breakages of supply chain, 3D printing could actually offer either protective equipment, face shields, face masks, either things basically to accelerate the diagnostic, like nasal swab, basically to take forms and make sure that you can be diagnosed very, very quickly. Or, for instance, things that are much more critical, like respirators, bifurcators, things that are critical life and death equipment on the care departments.
And these are all things that 3D printing can help, speed up. And we obviously know the shortage of respirators, the shortage of all these issues. That's fantastic. That's something that could actually help that. Now, I know, just talking about medical equipment, generally I know there's a lot of patents associated with that stuff and a lot of things that go through regulations. Is the general understanding right now, since things are, in such a critical time where we need that equipment right away, are those things that just aren't going to be enforced, I guess, or is that just something that's not of importance right now?
No, obviously, IP is a very serious matter. Actually, we work in parallel in two ways. One, with the traditional manufacturers, for instance, of respirators, making sure that, for instance, if they have a breakage on one part that actually they don't have, that actually we can 3D print them for them, and actually we go through the traditional manufacturing path. In parallel, we're working with a number of initiatives that are doing from ground zero a new respirator. Usually they are field respirators, but basically they can be manufactured in very, very quick time, and at the same time can be manufactured where they are needed. Actually, 3D printing plays a major role on this one, because actually the time between some of these initiatives, from conceptual to prototyping to actually be able to be tested with animals, and now a lot of them are now in the clinical process. This is a matter of 2 weeks, which is basically unheard of on the restoration industry. So we're working with the two things, with the traditional supply, with traditional manufacturers, making sure that they have all the supply of parts that they needed, and in parallel with new initiatives to complement the traditional supply chains.
That's incredible, just to help fill in, that gap and really change it up, like you said, moving the supply chain, moving manufacturing into this more digital era where you can do that and have something custom made in such a quick way is really incredible. Looking at it right now too, when we talk about, in particular this fight against COVID-19, where are some of the biggest gaps in the supply chain as far as when it comes to products that the medical, medical facilitators need?
This is actually different if you talk about different countries on Europe, where they've been a little bit more on the curve versus the US. For instance, one of the key areas that everybody is beginning to be in agreement is that to stop the spread, diagnosis is the main important thing that you need to make sure that a big part of the population goes through. And for this, actually, the manufacturing swabs, basically again to take the sample of on your nose, for instance, is very important. What has happened is actually the biggest manufacturer of swabs in the world was an Italian company that is shut down, has been shut down for many weeks, and therefore the worldwide shortage of all of this. So what we have done in the case of US, together with the Harvard Hospital, is basically do a very quick turnaround on design, prototyping. This, to give you an idea of a scale, we actually start working on a Thursday with the Harvard Hospital. On a Friday, we delivered the first designs that were tested. A Tuesday after, the FDA gave the okay for 3D printing to actually print in one piece the swabs. And the day after, they were already in clinical. And this basically is an application can be scaled in millions per week. It's something that actually can be scaled very, very fast in 3D. So this gives you an idea on the short time of reaction of digital supply chains like 3D is enabled.
Wow, it's incredible, yeah, what we're able to do with this. And I want to let people know, too, out there who want to learn more about what HP is doing or learn different ways that they can help out, help out to solve some of these issues. Where would we direct them? Where's the best place to send them? Where would that be?
We have a website in HP on the 3D business site within hp.com, where actually you can go and see all the designs that we have done. Actually, they are free. All the designs that we're doing, we post them. So all our partners, so the people that have 3D print technology, can download, actually print themselves, whether they have an industrial 3D printer from HP, or basically they have another tool of manufacturing. They can do this. That's one. The second, we also have a page where hospitals can actually put their demands. So actually, we are trying to fulfill this either through our own or through our partners and digital manufacturing network of 3D printers.
That's great. So they can go there and request and say, hey, here's what we're lacking. Can you help us out with that? That's fantastic. Well, Ramon, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Digital Trends Live. I'm sure you're very busy helping to facilitate a lot of what's going on here with this, but we appreciate you joining us to talk about it. And I would love to have another discussion another time, too, about 3D printing in general. There's so much to talk about with that. But Ramon, thank you for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Thank you and take care. Bye.
You too. All right, so there we go, talking about how HP is handling that and with 3D printing and different ways that we can change things. It's really fascinating just seeing how quickly, I mean, obviously they've been doing it for years, but how quickly we can adapt when we have something like that, that kind of technical ability. But all right, I know we need to get to a break, so let's do this. Let's reset here. We're going to have John Velasco, who's going to join us to talk about smart homes and some different products that are coming out, some really interesting ones. I thank everybody who's watching us, whatever platform you are on right now. Stick around, we're back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Remember when you could actually go to a house party and play beer pong or a game of Quiplash with your friends? Don't you miss that? Luckily, the Houseparty app can help fill that party void without breaking your mom's favorite lamp. We're not kidding playing around. This is everything you need to know about the app, Houseparty. You may be thinking, why should I download another video chatting app when I could just use FaceTime or Zoom? Well, I've done the virtual happy hour thing myself, and to let you know, it can get kind of stale pretty quick. That's where Houseparty comes in. Houseparty is like those other video chatting apps, but it includes games and quizzes to make those calls more fun. Houseparty isn't actually new. The video chat app was first released back in 2016, but now that millions of people are stuck at home, it's become really popular. In the first couple weeks of people hunkering down indoors, it got over 2 million downloads. It's super easy to use, and that's probably one of the best things about the service. When you open up the app, you're able to see which of your friends are online and ready to chat. You can enter a chat without having to initiate a call, unless your friends have chosen to lock their room. After the chat begins, you can play a bunch of different games with up to 8 people. Games like Heads Up, Trivia, Quick Draw, and more. So basically you can start an impromptu party whenever you want. I mean, during quarantine, every day is Saturday, isn't it? Let's say your friends don't want to join you for a rager at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. That's okay. You can send them face mails, which are video messages that will play when your friends open the app. This is probably my favorite feature because I've always thought it'd be cool to be able to leave video voicemails for your friends when they ignore your FaceTime or calls. With the Houseparty app, you finally can. While Houseparty is a good distraction for all of you social butterflies out there, there are some concerns. Experts say that the app collects a worrying amount of personal information. If you do choose to connect it with your social media accounts, just be careful. You can reduce your risk by turning off location data and making sure your chat rooms are private. Just like a party while your parents are out of town, keep the guest list minimal. This is one house party you don't have to worry about falling asleep with your shoes on. Just because we can't leave the house doesn't mean you can't unleash your inner Van Wilder. So pour your favorite beverage into that red cup, log on to Houseparty, and have some fun. Until next time, I'm Riley Wynn with Digital Trends, and thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and again, thank you for joining us. Wherever you're watching, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. You get the notification when we go live. You get to watch all the cool things that we get to talk about here every single day. And as we're all working from home, now is the time to make your home smarter. And to talk about that, we have John Velasco, who's joining us right now to talk about some new smart home products. Bring us up to date on those. John, thank you. What do you want to start off with here?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Greg. So we'll talk about just some new announcements, new products for smart home. The first one I'm going to talk about here is the Blink Mini. Now, Blink is a company from Amazon. They're part of Amazon, and they already make some outdoor cameras, probably some really underrated ones. And this one follows suit. This is their Blink Mini, which is their latest indoor camera. Actually, the only indoor camera. The other cameras they've had in the past were basically outdoor ones. that were battery powered. With this one here, it's actually pretty tiny, to the point where you might not even realize it's a camera. It could be tucked away somewhere. But it's probably the tiniest indoor camera that they put out. Very similar in shape to their outdoor cameras. So you have a square shaped design. It features 1080p video streams. You have two-way audio, night vision. There's also a local storage option. So basically all the essentials you'd want in a smart camera, an indoor security camera. It'll ensure that when you're away, you could actively see what's going on. It'll send you notifications in the event it detects any sort of motion. And the best part is, Greg, is that it's pretty cheap, $35, and it's going to be available soon. And it's a relatively inexpensive offering. So if you want something simple, small, tiny, and something that doesn't cost a whole lot, then check out the Blink Mini.
Yeah, that is $35. That's a really good price on something like that if it's got all of those features on it. So that's the Blink Mini, 1080p, two-way audio, night vision. Yeah, that's awesome. So $35 for that. Moving on from there, from the cameras, let's talk about some other smart home products, or smart products, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. So this one is kind of interesting. This one came onto our radar last week, and it's a smart toothbrush. It's called the Tallow Smart Toothbrush, and the thing about it is that they claim that it'll clean your teeth in 20 seconds. And Greg, if you see the picture there, it's pretty obnoxious looking. I'm not sure if you even want to put this in your mouth. It looks kind of scary at first. But as we're told, it uses this base technique, which is recommended by the AADA, the American Dental Association. And basically what it does is it'll brush your teeth. Now, unlike some other smart toothbrushes, which leverages the vibrations to actually break up plaque and clean your teeth, this one here holds the brush at a 45-degree angle. And it does this sweeping type of back and forth motion, almost like a brushing motion, to clean your teeth. And what it does is just hold it in your mouth, like the video showing, and it'll just clean away your teeth. You move it onto a different section until you completed everything. Like I said, it looks pretty intimidating. You could see how it cleans both the outside and the inside of your teeth at the same time. Hopefully it does the job well as far as cleaning. And they say that the battery in the Tallow Smart Toothbrush will last you upwards of around 8 days. But I still can't get over the fact that its design is just so out there compared to some of the other smart toothbrushes. It's going to retail for $195, but right now there's a Kickstarter campaign where you can get it for $120.
Yeah, it does. It does look intimidating. Drew Prindle was talking about this particular product the other day, and the one thing that really, they look all very happy, but that is way too many people in the bathroom for that commercial. That there's something going on there,
Exactly.
So that's not social distancing very well at all. But we've got the Tallow Smart Toothbrush, so $195, or a Kickstarter for $120, and then I'm really interested in this last one because I feel like everybody is worried that their smart speaker is listening to every single thing that they're saying, but this is a device that would help alleviate some of those concerns.
Exactly, yeah. I actually did a piece last week on words you shouldn't say near your smart speaker if you don't want it to listen in. Of course, when you say like, hey Google, or let's say Alexa, your smart speakers will turn on. And if there are variants of that word, like Alexis, your smart speaker will turn on and it's going to be actively listening. So this company came out with a gadget, a small gadget. It's called Paranoid. So if you're paranoid about your smart speakers listening in, then this is the right product for you. So it's a small gadget that essentially mutes your smart speaker, whether you have a Google Assistant one, if it's an Alexa-powered one, it'll mute the microphone so it doesn't listen in when you're not using it. Basically, it's a tiny robot that presses a button. That's essentially what it is. But they have 3 different versions of Paranoid. So the first one is the simplest one. It's the home button, and it's a USB-powered button pusher, basically, that presses the mute switch on your speaker. So in the case of, let's say, an Amazon Echo Dot, the mute switch is at the top. So it goes over the top of the speaker and mutes it. You have a second version, which is called the Home Wave. And basically this one's a little bit interesting because it's not simply just a button pusher. It will generate a white noise interference with the microphone when it's placed near the microphone, obviously on the smart speaker. So when you're not speaking, it's constantly playing that white noise in the background. You're not going to hear it. They say it's a low frequency, so it's not disturbing you, and it'll just prevent the speaker's microphone from picking up any ambient noise around in the event that it's accidentally initiated. And the last solution they have is what they call the Paranoid Home Max. This one's a little bit above and beyond the other two options because it's a custom option. So if your smart speaker doesn't have a dedicated mute switch, and this is something you could use. Basically, you ship your smart speaker to the company, and what the company will do is actually open up the smart speaker, install their chip, so that it deactivates the microphone when you're not using it. All three solutions are available right now, so all three Paranoid devices are available, and they're relatively inexpensive for $39 a piece.
Interesting. I mean, it's a smart marketing move to call the company Paranoid and just really go after that and say, yep, we know you're paranoid. Here's what we're doing. Right?
Exactly.
Well, okay, so that one we've got two. So, so you can read about that at digitaltrends.com. Again, interesting, these three different products. And we've got all kinds of different things there for people to read about. And John, as always, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
And that is John Velasco, our smart home editor, so you can read more about everything that he's covering at digitaltrends.com. So here's what I want to do now. I want to talk to you about tomorrow's show. So we broadcast live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, wherever you're at. We're in the world. We appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button. But here's what's coming up on tomorrow's episode. So number one, John Finley. Now, you may not know that name, but I bet you've watched Tiger King. He is the first husband of Joe Exotic. He's the guy that doesn't wear a shirt during the entire thing. He's going to be here on the show. We've got an interview with him that we're going to be playing. Yes, John Finley from Tiger King will be on Digital Trends Live. But that's not all, because also tomorrow we're going to have NFL legend and superstar Terrell Davis is going to be on the show. Terrell Davis is going to be on to talk about some home workouts that you can do to stay in shape and to stay fit and stay healthy while you're stuck in your house. He's going to have some tips for us. So Terrell Davis, again, if you have a Denver Broncos fan in your life, you will definitely want to tell them about this. But regardless, it's Terrell Davis. He's awesome. So he's going to be joining the show too. We also have our own Luke Larson, our own superstar, Luke Larson of computing. Superstar of computing, Luke Larson is going to be here. So he's our computer editor to talk about some of the biggest trends in computing. So we've got a lot to talk about with that too. And as always, we'll have all the tech headlines, the news that you need, things to get your day going. Make sure that you're up to date with everything going on in tech. So that's what we do right here. So again, hit that subscribe button, whatever platform you're on, join the show, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And I'm Greg Nibbler. I'll see you right back here tomorrow with another edition of Digital Trends Live.